Wives, who said you're not good enough? How did you react when he agreed and left forever? Story 1. My wife said it like she'd been rehearsing it in the mirror. We were standing in the kitchen, dishes half done, the smell of burnt garlic still hanging in the air. You're not good enough, she said, chin lifted. Not for me. Not for the life I want. I waited for the punchline. For the I'm just frustrated. For the classic backpedal. Instead, she folded her arms and watched me like I was a bad investment. Something in me went oddly quiet. Okay, I said. She blinked. Okay? Yeah, I dried my hands slowly, put the towel back like it mattered. You're right. Her mouth opened, then shut, like she'd expected me to fight her statement, not accept it. So, what, you're gonna cry? Beg? Promise therapy again? She pushed. I looked around the room. Our wedding photo. The couch she picked. The calendar full of her plans. I realized I had been living inside her decisions for years. No, I said. I'm going to leave. She laughed, sharp and bright. Sure you are. I walked past her and started packing a bag. That's when she followed me down the hall, suddenly loud. You're being dramatic. I kept folding shirts. You can't just... Where would you even go? I zipped the bag. Anywhere that isn't here. When I reached for my keys, she blocked the door. Not crying, not apologizing, just offended. You're really proving me right, she snapped. Running away? I nodded. Yeah, I'm not good enough. So why would you want me staying? The silence that followed was different. It wasn't triumphant. It was scared. I walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't make a speech. I just left. 3 days later, she texted, "Are you done with your little tantrum?" A week later, "We need to talk like adults." 2 weeks later, I didn't mean it like that. I was upset. I never replied. Not because I was trying to punish her. Because the moment she said it, and I agreed, something snapped into place. I wasn't good enough. For her. And for the first time, that felt like freedom. Story 2. My wife told me I wasn't good enough at my own birthday dinner. In front of her sister, in front of our friends, with a smile like she was doing me a favor. I'd made a joke about how she always fixes my outfits. She leaned in, wine glass in hand, and said, "That's because you'd embarrass me otherwise. Honestly, you're not good enough." Everyone did that awkward laugh that people do when they're praying it's a joke. Her sister smirked. I stared at my plate. The candles were still lit. I didn't say anything. I just nodded once. And that's when she realized I wasn't playing along. "What?" she said, laughing again. "Don't be sensitive." I picked up my napkin and set it down neatly. "No, you're right." The table went quiet. She leaned back, irritated now. "You're not going to make a scene, are you?" I stood up. "No scene. I'm just leaving." She blinked like her brain lagged. "You can't just leave. It's your birthday." "Exactly," I said. "And I don't want this version of it." I walked out of the restaurant while my friends stared at their menus like they were suddenly fascinating. I heard her call my name once, sharp, like a command. At home, she was already there when I arrived. She'd raced ahead, furious. "So you're punishing me now?" she demanded. "No," I said calmly. "I'm agreeing with you." That line did something to her. It took the power out of her anger. "What does that even mean?" "It means if I'm not good enough, you should be happy I'm leaving," I said, and kept walking to the guest room. She followed, voice rising. "You're not going to sleep in there. This is my house, too." I turned and looked at her, really looked. "Then enjoy it." I packed that night. Not dramatically, not slamming drawers. Just quietly, like I was finally listening. The next morning, she tried a new tactic. Sweet voice, coffee in hand. "Come on. You know I didn't mean it." I nodded. "You meant it enough to say it in public." Then she tried crying. Then yelling. Then calling me cold. Then telling people I was unstable. But the only thing I kept hearing was her voice over candlelight. "You're not good enough." And my own voice, steady for once. "You're right." Story 3. My wife used to compare me to her ex like it was casual conversation. He would have handled that. He would have known what to say. He wouldn't be so, "you." The night she finally said, "You're not good enough," it wasn't even during a fight. We were folding laundry. She held up one of my shirts like it offended her. "I don't know how I ended up with this," she muttered. "You're not good enough." "I deserve better." I waited for the apology. None came. I just nodded. "You do." She froze mid-fold. "Excuse me? You deserve better," I repeated. "So go get it." Her eyes narrowed. "Don't start." "I'm being honest." "I'm being honest too," I said. "I agree with you." That hit her like a slap. Not because I was mean, because I didn't fight. Fighting meant I still wanted to win her approval. I walked to the closet, pulled out a suitcase, and started packing. She laughed, but it had cracks in it. "You're leaving over one sentence?" "Over years," I said. She leaned on the doorframe, suddenly cautious. "You're being pathetic." I zipped the suitcase. "Maybe. but at least I'm consistent. That night, she called her friends and said I was abandoning her because she asked for more effort. I could hear her in the living room, performing. I kept packing. In the morning, she tried to block the door with her body. "If you walk out, don't come back," she said dramatically. I nodded. "That's the plan." Her face changed, like she didn't expect me to choose the permanent option. "You're bluffing," she whispered. "No," I said quietly. "I'm finally listening." She texted all day. Angry. Sweet. Angry again. Then she sent, "You'll regret this when you realize nobody else will want you." I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back, "That's okay. You already taught me how to live without being wanted." I blocked her and drove until the city lights turned into open dark. The weirdest part? For the first time in years, my chest didn't feel tight. It felt empty, and empty felt like room to breathe. Story 4. The not good enough speech came after her promotion. She walked in glowing, tossing her new badge on the counter like a trophy. I hugged her, proud, already planning a celebration. She didn't hug back. She looked at me like she'd outgrown me overnight. "You know," she said, "now that I'm moving up, I need someone who matches me." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She sighed like I was slow. "I mean, you're not good enough. You don't have ambition. You don't have presence. You're just comfortable." It was so clinical it almost didn't hurt at first. Like a performance review. I swallowed. "Okay." Her eyes flicked up. "Okay?" "Yeah," I said, surprising myself. "I agree." She actually smiled, like she'd won, finally. Some self-awareness. I nodded. "So I'll make this easy." I walked into the bedroom and started taking my things off the shelves. Her smile vanished. "What are you doing?" "Leaving," I said. "You said you need someone else." Her voice sharpened. "I didn't say divorce." "Don't be insane." I paused. "So you want me to stay? While believing I'm not good enough?" She opened her mouth, then snapped it shut. That night she tried to reframe it. "I was motivating you," she said. I laughed once, short, tired. "By insulting me?" Then she tried bargaining. "We can work on you. New clothes, gym, networking." I stared at her. "You think I'm a project?" She got angry then. "Don't act like a victim. You're the one choosing to leave?" I nodded. "Yes, because I agree. I'm not the man you want." She followed me to the car, heels clicking fast. "Where will you go?" "You're making a huge mistake." I opened the door. "Maybe, but it'll be my mistake." The next week she posted vague quotes about outgrowing people. She told our friends I couldn't handle her success. Then she called me at midnight, voice small. "I didn't think you'd actually go," she admitted. I held the phone in silence, feeling something settle. "That's the problem," I said. "You said it like you owned the outcome." And for the first time, she had nothing to say. Story 5. My wife had a habit of correcting me in public, interrupting, finishing my sentences, laughing at my opinions. I told myself she was just strong, but the night she said it out loud, the mask slipped. We were at her parents' house. Her dad asked me about work. I started talking, and she cut in with this sweet little giggle. "He's exaggerating," she said. "He wants to sound important." Her mom chuckled politely. Her dad looked uncomfortable. I tried to keep going, but she leaned closer and whispered, "Stop. You're embarrassing me." Then, louder, like a joke, "He's not good enough, honestly." My fork froze halfway to my mouth. I set it down slowly and looked at her. "You're right." The room went still. Her eyes widened, annoyed. "Oh my God, don't start." "I was kidding." I nodded. "Sure, but I agree anyway." I stood up. Her mom gasped. Her dad's eyes flicked between us like he wanted to disappear. "What are you doing?" my wife hissed. "Leaving," I said calmly. "Forever." She laughed. Too loud. "You're being dramatic for attention." I grabbed my coat. "No. I'm being honest for once." Outside, she followed me into the cold, voice turning sharp. "You can't do this to me in front of my family." I turned. "You did it to me first." Her face twisted. "So you're punishing me because I told the truth?" I shook my head. "I'm agreeing with your truth. That's all." That's when she changed tactics instantly. Tears. Trembling voice, grabbing my sleeve. "Please. Don't. You're overreacting." I gently pulled my arm free. "You didn't say it like you wanted me to stay." She stared at me like she couldn't compute a world where I didn't chase her approval. Then she snapped, furious. "Fine. Go. Nobody else will put up with you." I nodded. "Maybe. But at least I won't have to earn basic respect." I drove away while her house lights shrank in my mirror. Later that night, her dad texted me one line. "I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that." And for some reason, that message hit harder than her insult, because it proved I wasn't crazy. I wasn't too sensitive. I was just finally done. Story 6. She said it in the car, trapped between a red light and my silence. "You're not good enough," she snapped. scrolling her phone with one hand like I was background noise. I don't know why I ever settled. I expected the usual. Me apologizing, promising to do better, her enjoying the control. Instead, I just nodded. Yeah, you're right. Her thumb stopped. What? I said you're right. I pulled into a parking lot and turned off the engine. So I'm done. She laughed like I was doing stand-up. Done with what? With being your punching bag. With auditioning for my own marriage. She stared at me for 3 full seconds, then went cold. You're trying to scare me. I opened my door. No. I'm trying to leave. That's when she panicked. Not with tears, but with rage. You can't just walk away. We have responsibilities. I pointed at her phone. You've been walking away for years. You just stayed physically present. At home, she followed me room to room like a lawyer building a case. You'll regret this. You're being dramatic. You're proving you're weak. I packed quietly. Every time she insulted me, it felt like she was pushing the zipper closed. Then she played her final card. If you leave, I'll tell everyone you abandoned me. I looked up. Tell them the truth too. Tell them you said I wasn't good enough and I finally agreed. Her face twisted. That line stole her favorite weapon, the story. I walked out. No speech. No slam. Just a door clicking shut like a decision. 2 days later, she called, sweet as syrup. Come home. I didn't mean it. I said, that's the problem. You meant it enough to enjoy saying it. And I hung up. Story 7. My wife said it during couples therapy. Like it was evidence. The therapist asked, what do you need from him? She didn't even hesitate. I need him to be enough. Because right now he's not good enough. The therapist blinked. That's a heavy statement. My wife shrugged. It's true. I felt something weird. Relief, like she finally said the quiet part out loud in a room with witnesses. I nodded slowly. I agree. My wife's head snapped toward me. Excuse me? I agree, I repeated. I'm not good enough. For you. The therapist tried to step in. Let's unpack. No, I said, calm. I've unpacked this for years. My wife scoffed. Oh, please, don't do this performative victim thing. I stood up, grabbed my jacket. I'm not performing. I'm leaving. Her eyes went wide, furious. You can't just quit because you're being called out. I looked at her. You didn't call me out. You called me worthless. She turned to the therapist like I was a misbehaving child. Tell him he's being irrational. The therapist just said softly, I can't make him stay. That sentence was gasoline. My wife exploded in the parking lot, hissing threats between clenched teeth. You think you'll find someone better? I'm not looking for better, I said. I'm looking for peace. That night she texted, you're ruining our life. I replied once. No. You already did. I'm just finally stepping out of the wreckage. She tried to reschedule therapy without telling. She told people I had a breakdown. But the truth was simple. I had a breakthrough. She said I wasn't good enough. And for once, I believed her. Then chose myself anyway. Story 8. The insult came wrapped like a compliment. We were at a party with her coworkers. All expensive perfume and fake laughter. She squeezed my arm and whispered, smiling, just don't talk too much tonight. I frowned. Why? Because you're not good enough at this, she said lightly. You make me look small. Something inside me went cold. I watched her glide away, laughing with people who barely knew her, while I stood there like a prop she rented. On the drive home, she started listing my flaws like she was reading a menu. You're awkward. You're basic. You don't have ambition. You're not good enough. I kept my eyes on the road. Then I said, I agree. She turned toward me like she'd been slapped. Stop being dramatic. I'm not. I pulled over, parked, and put the hazards on. What are you doing? Ending this? She scoffed. You can't end it. Not like this. Why? I asked. Because you didn't plan it? She tried to laugh it off, then tried to flirt, then tried to cry. Rapid fire. Babe, come on. No, I said. You don't get to belittle me and keep me as your accessory. At home, she watched me pack like it wasn't real. Then she suddenly got angry, eyes wild. You're leaving because you can't handle a strong woman. I zipped my suitcase. No, I'm leaving because I can't handle cruelty. She followed me to the door, voice shaking. You'll come crawling back. I paused, hand on the knob. The version of me who crawls is the version you married. Then I left. A month later, I saw her at a cafe, alone, staring at her phone like it owed her love. She looked up and smiled like she was about to reclaim me. I just nodded politely and walked right past. Her face behind me, silent, stunned, was the loudest apology I ever got. Story 9. My wife said it after my mom's funeral. I was exhausted, hollowed out, still wearing the same black suit. I sat on the edge of the bed and whispered, I don't know how to be okay right now. She sighed like I'd asked her to carry groceries. You're not good enough, she said. You're weak. You fall apart. I need a man, not this. For a second, I didn't even feel hurt. I felt clarity, like grief turned into X-ray vision. I looked at her and said, You're right. Her eyes narrowed. Don't start. I'm not starting. I'm finishing. I stood up, took off my wedding ring, and placed it gently on the dresser. She laughed once, mean. Oh, wow. Big gesture. No, I said quietly. Small truth. She stepped forward, angry now. You're abandoning me because I told you the truth? I nodded. Because you told me the truth at the moment I needed kindness. She tried to pivot fast. I was stressed too. This has been hard on me. That almost made me smile. My mother died, I said. And you made it about my usefulness. She went pale. Not sorry, just exposed. I didn't pack a suitcase. I grabbed my keys and my jacket. You can't just leave, she said, suddenly scared. I can, I answered. I should have earlier. She called me 20 times that night. Texted, I didn't mean it like that. Then, you're being cruel. Then, come home, we can talk. I didn't respond. Not out of revenge. Because grief taught me something brutal. Life is short, and love shouldn't feel like a performance review. Story 10. She said it during an argument about money. Again, I had picked up a second job, coming home late, smelling like coffee and exhaustion. I thought she'd appreciate it. Instead, she stared at my paycheck stub and frowned. This is it? She said. God, you're not good enough. I married potential and got disappointment. My hands were still shaking from the shift. I swallowed and said, You're right, she blinked. Excuse me? I'm not good enough, I repeated. For the lifestyle you want. Her lips curled like she'd won. Finally. So what are you going to do about it? I grabbed a trash bag from under the sink and started walking toward the closet. She laughed. Oh my God, are you cleaning? No, I said. I'm packing. Her smile dropped instantly. Stop it. You're not leaving. I kept folding. Shirts. Socks. My dignity, piece by piece. She stepped closer, voice rising. You're being dramatic to guilt me. I looked at her. You guilt me every day just to keep me small. I'm done. Then she went nuclear. You'll fail without me. You'll crawl back. No one will want you. I nodded like I was taking notes. Maybe. But at least I won't have to earn being spoken to like a human. When I reached the door, she blocked it, eyes glossy. You can't do this, she whispered, after everything I put into you. That sentence hit hardest. Like I was a project she'd funded. I moved around her and opened the door. I'm not your investment, I said. I'm your husband, or I was. I left forever. And the last thing I heard wasn't a goodbye. It was her screaming my name like a command that suddenly didn't work. Story 11. She said it over FaceTime, with her hair perfectly done and a hotel lamp glowing behind her. I just need to be honest, she sighed. You're not good enough. You never have been. I stared at my own reflection in the dark screen corner. Tired eyes, paint on my hands from fixing the kitchen cabinet she complained about. Okay, I said. She blinked. Okay? Yeah, I agree. Her smile twitched, like the script slipped. Don't do that passive-aggressive thing. It's not passive, I answered. It's active. I'm leaving. She laughed once. You can't leave. I'm literally on a work trip. That's convenient, I said. You can come home to an empty house? Her face hardened. You're trying to punish me. No. I'm aligning with your reality. You said I'm not good enough, so you shouldn't want me here. That's when her voice jumped an octave. Stop twisting my words. I nodded. I'm not twisting. I'm accepting. I hung up, then did something I'd never done in 10 years of marriage. I packed without rushing. No anger. No shaking hands. Like I was finally allowed to be calm. 2 hours later, she called again. Then again. Then she texted, Answer me. This isn't funny. I replied once. You were honest. I'm being honest, too. When she came home 2 days later, she stood in the doorway like she'd walked into the wrong address. The couch was there, the photos were there, but my stuff was gone. Like a ghost had chosen to leave politely. She whispered, You really did it. I looked at her. You really said it. For the first time, she had nothing to grade me on. No critique. No correction. Just the sound of her breathing in a house that didn't belong to her story anymore. Story 12. It happened at IKEA, of all places. We were arguing about a shelf. A stupid shelf? She wanted the expensive one. I said we should measure first. She rolled her eyes like I was an inconvenience with legs. You always do this, she snapped. You're not good enough. You can't just decide. You have to overthink everything. People turned their heads. A kid stopped eating his ice cream. I felt my cheeks burn, then cool. I nodded. You're right. Her face sharpened. Don't start with your victim act. I'm not, I said. I agree. I'm not good enough for your life, she scoffed. Finally. So hurry up and... No, I interrupted. I'm leaving. She laughed loudly. Over a shelf, I looked around at the maze of furniture and fake rooms. Over the fact you talk to me like I'm defective in public. She grabbed my wrist, nails digging in. Stop embarrassing me. I gently pulled free. You embarrassed me first. I walked out past the registers, past the hot dogs, past the couples arguing softly. My phone buzzed nonstop in my pocket like a trapped insect. At home, she stormed in later, throwing the catalog on the counter like it was evidence. You're insane, she said. You'd leave your marriage over IKEA? I shook my head. No. I left because the shelf wasn't the problem. She tried crying. Then insulting. Then the classic, you'll never find someone else. I smiled sadly. I'd rather be alone than constantly proven not good enough. The last thing she said before I shut the door was, you're making me look bad, and that's when I knew I'd made the right choice. Story 13. My wife said it in front of our son. He'd spilled juice on the carpet. I knelt down to clean it up, telling him it was okay. He was crying, little shoulders shaking. I hugged him and said, accidents happen. My wife walked in, took one look, and scoffed. That's why he's soft, she said. Then she stared right at me. And you're not good enough. You're too gentle. You're raising him wrong. Our son wiped his face and watched us like he was studying a storm. Something in me snapped. Not anger. A line. I stood up slowly. Okay, she rolled her eyes. Okay, what? You're right, I said. I'm not good enough. For you, she smirked, pleased. Finally, you admit it. I turned to our son and said softly, go to your room, buddy. When he left, she crossed her arms. Now what? You're going to sulk? I shook my head. I'm going to leave. Her smile vanished. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not, I said. I won't let him grow up watching his dad get disrespected and thinking that's love. Her voice rose. So you're abandoning your child? I looked her in the eyes. No. I'm leaving you. There's a difference. That night she tried to weaponize him. She cried loudly in the kitchen so he could hear. She said, Daddy doesn't love us. I knelt beside him and whispered, Daddy loves you enough to not live like this. In court later, she told the judge I was unstable. That I quit. I didn't argue. I just showed up, consistent, calm, present. The first time my son spent a week at my new place, he looked around and said, it's quiet here. I smiled. Yeah? That's what respect sounds like. Story 14. She said it after my promotion party. My promotion. Everyone was congratulating me, clinking glasses, telling me I deserved it. My wife smiled the whole night. Perfect hostess, perfect wife. The second the door closed at home, her face changed like a switch flipped. Don't get cocky, she said. You're still not good enough. I actually laughed because it was absurd. She frowned. What's funny? The timing, I said. You couldn't stand hearing people praise me. She stepped closer, eyes cold. You think a title makes you someone? I married you before you were anything. And you're still not enough. I felt the room tilt. Not with sadness, with clarity. I nodded. You're right. She blinked, confused. Excuse me? I'm not good enough for you, I said, calm as glass. So I'm leaving. She stared, then laughed sharply. No, you're not. I walked to the closet and pulled out a suitcase. That's when she changed into panic. Stop. We were just talking. No, I said. You were cutting me down. She grabbed my arm. You can't do this after I supported you. I pulled free. Support isn't a loan you collect with insults. She tried to guilt me, then charm me, then threaten me. You'll regret it. You're selfish. I'll take you for everything. I paused at the door and said, do whatever you want. I'm done being your audience. The next day, she called my coworkers to check on me, trying to make me look unstable. But the joke was on her. My boss had heard her at the party once, making small digs, and he'd already clocked it. She wanted to own the narrative. All she got was an empty house and a silence she couldn't rewrite. Story 15. She said it in the simplest, cruelest way, while I was shaving. She leaned on the bathroom door frame, watching me like I was a mistake she couldn't return. You're not good enough, she said. You never have been. I just got tired of pretending. The razor paused at my jaw. A bead of blood formed, tiny and bright. I stared at myself in the mirror, then nodded. Okay? She laughed softly. Look at you. Even now you can't say anything. I rinsed the razor. I agree with you. Her expression changed. What? I agree, I said. I'm not good enough. For someone who talks like that. She scoffed. Oh, so now you're acting superior? No, I said, wiping my face. I'm acting free. I walked past her and started pulling clothes from the dresser. She followed, voice rising. You're leaving because you can't handle the truth? I looked at her once. I can handle the truth. I can't handle staying. She tried to block the hallway, arms spread, eyes glossy. Don't you dare walk out. I stepped around her. Watch me. At the door, she finally cracked. I didn't think you'd actually go. I paused. That's because you didn't think I had any self-respect left. Her face twisted like she wanted to deny it. But the silence admitted everything. I left with shaving cream still on my collar. And the last thing she texted me wasn't, I'm sorry. It was, You'll come back when you realize you can't do better. I didn't reply because for the first time I already had. Tori szesnaście. She said it at 2:13 a.m., sitting upright in bed, phone glowing on her face like a confession light. I've been thinking, she said, not looking at me. You're not good enough. I was half asleep, but that sentence snapped me fully awake. For what? For me, she said, scrolling. For my standards. For my future. I stared at her. Is this because of that new friend group? The one that keeps posting manifesting quotes? She rolled her eyes. Don't make it about them. It's about you being you. The weird thing? I didn't feel rage. I felt tired. I nodded. Okay. She finally looked at me, annoyed. Okay, what? You're right, I said. I'm not good enough. For someone who speaks to me like that. Her mouth open, closed. So now you're turning this around? No, I said, pulling the blanket back. I'm getting up. I walked to the closet and started grabbing hangers. She sat frozen for a moment, then followed like she couldn't believe the scene was changing without her permission. What are you doing? Leaving, I said. She laughed once, sharp. At 2 a.m, at the exact moment I understood you, I answered. Then she panicked and tried to rewrite reality on the spot. I didn't mean right now. I mean, you need to improve. I paused. So you want me to stay while you tell me I'm not enough and I chase your approval? She snapped. That's marriage. I shook my head. No. That's captivity. When I walked past her with my duffel bag, she whispered, You're being cruel. I looked at her. You started cruelty. I'm ending it. I left the house in my socks. In the dark. And the air outside felt so clean it scared me. Story 17. My wife said it during a joke at a friend's wedding. We were at our table, watching the couple dance. Someone asked, So when are you two renewing vows? My wife smiled, sipping champagne. Why would I? He's not good enough the first time. Laughter popped around the table like fireworks. I watched people's faces. Some amused, some uncomfortable, some just grateful it wasn't them. I set my glass down. You're right. Her smile stiffened. Oh my God, don't be dramatic. I'm not, I said. I agree. The laughter died. She leaned in, teeth still smiling. Not here. I stood up. Then you shouldn't have said it here. She grabbed my wrist under the tablecloth. Sit down. I gently pulled away. No. I walked out of the reception hall while the band played something romantic for someone else. I heard her heels chasing me into the lobby. You are not ruining this for me, she hissed. I looked at her, calm. You already ruined something. Just not the wedding. She tried every switch in her toolbox. Anger. You're pathetic. Guilt. My friends will think you're abusive. Charm. Babe, please, let's talk. Threats. I'll make you regret this. I just said, You said I wasn't good enough. So I'm done pretending I'm enough for you. At home, I packed while she paced like a predator losing prey. You'll be alone, she spat. I nodded. Better alone than humiliated for entertainment. The next day, she posted pictures from the wedding with captions about love and forever. I filed for divorce. And for once, forever meant freedom. Story 18. She said it in a voice memo. 27 seconds long. Like breaking me was a task she wanted finished before lunch. I'm just going to say it. You're not good enough. I need someone more driven. Don't call me. I'll call you when I'm ready to talk. I listened twice. The second time, I noticed how calm she sounded. No anger. No sadness. Just management. I didn't call. I didn't text. I went to the bank, opened a new account, then drove to my brother's place with a trunk full of clothes. That night she finally called, expecting me to be shaking. You've been quiet, she said suspiciously. Why aren't you fighting for us? I answered. Because I agree. Silence. Then a harsh laugh. You agree you're not good enough? I agree we're wrong together, I said. And I'm done. Her voice sharpened. So you're quitting because you can't handle criticism. I almost smiled. That wasn't criticism. That was contempt. Then she did something I'll never forget. She switched into panic so fast it sounded fake. Wait. Don't do anything stupid. I was just upset. You recorded it, I said. You hit send. That's not upset. That's intention. She started crying, but between sobs she still tried to steer. We can fix this. You can change, I said. I don't want to change into someone who accepts disrespect. After I hung up, she texted 100 times. She even showed up at my brother's place. Makeup perfect. Tears ready. Like she was auditioning for sympathy. She knocked and said, I didn't mean it. I looked at her through the glass and said, You meant it enough to say it without looking me in the eyes. Then I turned off the porch light and walked away from the door. Her silhouette stayed there a long time, waiting for control to work again. It didn't. Story 19. She said it during a fight about my dad's health. My dad had just been diagnosed. I'd been driving to appointments, juggling work, sleeping 4 hours a night. I came home one evening and found her mad because I forgot to buy her favorite creamer. You're not good enough, she said, tossing the empty bottle into the sink. You can't handle anything. I need a husband, not a burden. I stared at her. My hands were still shaking from the hospital. I nodded once. You're right. She blinked. Good. So fix it. I took off my jacket, put my keys on the counter. Calmly. Then I said, I'm leaving. Her face changed. No, you're not. I looked at her. You just told me I'm a burden. Why would you want me here? She tried to backpedal, but her pride tripped her. I'm saying you need to step up. I am stepping up, I said. For my dad. For myself. Not for your approval. She stepped closer, voice low and dangerous. If you leave, don't expect me to be here when you come crawling back. I nodded. Perfect. Then she went for the throat. Your dad's dying and you're running away from your responsibilities. That's when something inside me hardened. My responsibility is to people who love me, I said quietly. Not people who use my pain as leverage. I packed in silence while she followed me, throwing insults like darts, hoping one would stick enough to make me stay. When I left, she didn't shout goodbye. She shouted, You'll regret this. Maybe I did regret one thing. Not leaving. But waiting until she showed me exactly who she was at my weakest. Story 20. She said it while opening a gift. Our anniversary gift. I had saved for months, skipping lunches, doing overtime. I bought her the bracelet she'd pointed at in a shop window last year. She opened the box, stared, and her face twisted. This one? She said. Seriously? I laughed nervously. You said you liked it. She rolled her eyes. It's fine, but honestly, you're not good enough. You never get it right. I felt the room go quiet inside my head. Then I nodded. You're right. She looked up suspicious. What is that tone? It's not tone, I said. It's agreement. She scoffed. Good. So return it and... No, I said, taking the box back gently and closing the lid. I'm returning something else. Her eyebrows pulled together. What? Us? I answered. She laughed like I was being theatrical. Stop. You're not leaving over a bracelet. I shook my head. I'm leaving over the way you look at me when I try. She stood up fast, anger flashing. So now I'm the villain because I have standards? I met her eyes. Standards aren't the problem. Cruelty is. She tried to grab the box back. Give it to me. It's mine. I held it behind my back. You don't get rewards for disrespect. Her face went white, then red. You're insane. You're not good enough and you know it. I nodded. Exactly. So you'll be relieved when I'm gone. I walked out with the bracelet in my pocket. Not because I wanted it. Because it was proof of how much effort I wasted trying to buy love from someone who only wanted power. The next day she texted, Bring my bracelet back. I replied, Sell it. Buy yourself someone good enough. Story 21. She said it like a diagnosis, tapping her nails on the kitchen counter while I cooked. You're not good enough, she said. And I'm tired of carrying this relationship. I turned the stove off. The sudden silence felt louder than her voice. Okay, I said. She smirked. Finally. So you admit it? I nodded. Yeah, I admit you're right. She leaned forward, ready for the usual bargain. So what are you going to do to fix it? I wiped my hands on a towel and looked at her. Leave. The smirk fell off her face like a mask slipping. Excuse me? If I'm not good enough, you shouldn't have to carry me, I said calmly. I'm doing you a favor. She laughed, but it came out strained. Stop being dramatic. You're trying to manipulate me. I shook my head. No, I'm agreeing with you. That's the opposite of manipulation. She followed me into the bedroom when I started packing. You can't just quit. I'm not quitting, I said. I'm accepting your standards. Her eyes narrowed. So you're punishing me because I'm honest? I zipped my bag. You weren't honest. You were cruel. Then she switched tactics like flipping channels. I didn't mean it. I was stressed. You're overreacting. You'll regret it. I carried my bag to the door and she finally cracked, voice shaking. Where are you going? I paused. Somewhere I'm not auditioning to be loved. She said my name like a threat, like a command, like she still owned the ending. I stepped outside anyway. That night she posted a quote about letting go of toxic people. I laughed for the first time in months because she still didn't realize she'd just set me free. Story 22. My wife said it while my friends were over, like she wanted witnesses. We were playing cards. Someone teased me for always losing at bluffing. I shrugged and said, I'm too honest. She snorted. No, you're just not good enough to keep up. The room froze. My buddy's wife stared at her drink like it was suddenly fascinating. My wife smiled, enjoying the power. I looked at her and nodded. You're right. Her smile wavered. What? You're right, I repeated. I'm not good enough. She leaned back, satisfied. Finally. Then I added, so I'm leaving. The air went thin. My friend's mouth opened, then closed. Someone's card slipped from their fingers. My wife laughed too loudly. Oh my God, relax. It's a joke. I stood up. Then why did it feel like a knife? She followed me into the hallway, whisper hissing. Do not embarrass me in front of them. I turned. You already did. She tried to grab my arm. Sit down. We'll talk later. I stepped back. No. I'm done talking later. I walked back into the living room, looked at my friends and said, Sorry, I'm leaving. You didn't do anything wrong. They looked shocked, but nobody argued. Nobody laughed. That told me everything. At the door, my wife switched into tears like turning on a faucet. Please don't leave. You're making this so big. I nodded. You made it big when you made me small. I left while my friends sat in silence, and for once I didn't care who thought what, because the only person I'd been trying to convince for years was her, and the moment I agreed, the spell broke. Story 23. She said it during a vision board session. Yes, really. She had posters on the floor, scissors, glitter markers, pictures of luxury homes and vacations. She was glowing, excited, like she was building a new life with craft supplies. Come sit, she said. We're mapping our future. I sat down, trying to be supportive. Okay, what's first? She pointed at a photo of a fancy couple. That, but with someone who fits. I laughed awkwardly. What do you mean? She didn't laugh back. I mean, you're not good enough. You're not the kind of husband that belongs in that life. I stared at the board, then at her. She looked proud of herself, like she'd finally said something brave. I nodded slowly. You're right, she smiled. Thank you. See? Now we can... No, I said, standing up. Now I can leave. Her smile died. Wait, what? If I don't fit your dream, why keep me as furniture? I asked. She stood fast, angry. Because you're being irrational. We can work on you. I tilted my head. Work on me? To match a magazine photo? She tried to spin it into motivation. I'm pushing you. I shook my head. You're pushing me out. When I started packing, she followed, frantic. You're abandoning me. I'm agreeing with you, I said. You said I'm not good enough. That's when she said the most honest thing of all. I didn't think you had the guts. I looked at her and replied, Neither did I. And then I walked out, leaving her on the floor with glitter and magazine clippings, still trying to paste control onto a future that didn't include me anymore. Story 24. She said it on our front porch, in the middle of the neighborhood. Our next-door neighbor had just gotten a new car. My wife watched the shiny paint like it was a personal insult. Then she turned to me and said, loud enough for Mrs. Patel across the street to hear, Why can't you be like that? You're not good enough. I felt heat crawl up my neck. The old me would have argued, apologized, promised overtime. Instead, I nodded. You're right. She blinked, confused. Good. So I'm leaving, I said. Her face twisted. Stop. Don't do this here. You did it here, I replied. She grabbed my arm and lowered her voice. You're being dramatic because you got called out. I gently pulled free. No. I'm being done because you enjoy humiliating me. She tried to laugh it off, but her eyes were flickering now. Fear, not regret. You can't just leave, she hissed. People will talk. I looked at her. They're already listening. When I walked back inside to pack, she followed like a shadow. You're ruining our image. I paused. Our image is the only thing you've been married to. By the time I came out with my suitcase, Mrs. Patel was still outside watering plants, pretending not to watch. My wife whispered, Please, don't. I nodded. You should have whispered your cruelty too then. I got in my car and drove away slowly. Not because I was unsure, because I wanted everyone to see that leaving can be quiet. It can be calm. It can be final. And the next time the neighbor's new car drove by, I wasn't jealous. I was free. Story 25. She said it after I found the messages. I wasn't snooping. Her phone lit up while she was showering. A name I didn't recognize. A heart emoji. I waited until she came out, towel on her head, humming like nothing existed beyond her. What's this? I asked, holding the phone out. She didn't even flinch. She glanced, shrugged, and said, Oh, yeah. That? Look, you're not good enough. I needed someone who made me feel alive. I stared at her, waiting for shame. She had none. She looked relieved, like she'd finally set down a heavy bag. I nodded. You're right. Her eyes narrowed. Don't pretend you're okay. I'm not pretending, I said. I agree. She smirked. Good. So let's be adults. We can separate nicely and you won't make this ugly. I laughed once, quiet. I'm not going to make it ugly. Her shoulders relaxed. Finally, I'm going to make it final, I finished. She froze. What does that mean? It means you don't get to keep access to me, I said. No friendship. No late night I miss you. No, maybe someday. You made your choice. I'm making mine. Her face shifted. Panic flashed for half a second. Wait, you're really going to cut me off? I nodded. Yes. She tried to bargain fast. We can still, we built a life. I held up her phone. You built an exit. I walked out with a single bag and my dignity intact. Behind me, she screamed my name like she could pull me back with volume. But the moment she said I wasn't good enough, and I agreed, the door in my head had already closed. Story 26. She said it while I was fixing the sink. Water had been dripping for weeks. She kept complaining, so I finally took a day off, got my hands cut up under the cabinet, and was halfway through tightening a pipe when she leaned over me and sighed. You know what your problem is? She said. You try so hard and it's still not good enough. Honestly, you're not good enough. I slid out from under the sink, grease on my shirt, and looked up at her. Okay, I said. She blinked. Okay? Yeah, I answered. I agree, she scoffed. Good. Then maybe you'll finally... No, I interrupted, standing. Maybe I'll finally stop trying. Her face tightened. Don't be dramatic. Just fix the sink. I turned the water off and set the wrench down carefully. I'm done fixing things for someone who breaks me for sport. She crossed her arms. So now you're quitting because I told the truth? I nodded. I'm leaving because you told the truth with contempt. I walked to the bedroom and started pulling clothes from drawers. That's when her tone shifted from superiority to panic. Wait. Stop. You can't just walk out. Over plumbing? I paused. It's never about the sink. She followed me to the door, voice rising. You're proving me right? You can't handle pressure. I looked at her, calm. You're proving me right. You can't handle consequences. I left with wet hands and a dry heart. 2 days later, she texted, the sink is leaking again. I replied, call someone good enough. Story 27. She said it at the gym, in front of the mirrors. I'd finally started going with her because she complained I was letting myself go. I was sweaty, struggling, trying to keep up. She watched me fail a set and laughed. God, she said, loud enough for the guy on the treadmill to hear. You're not good enough. This is embarrassing. I wiped my face, stared at my reflection and felt something settle. I nodded. You're right. Her laugh stopped. What? I'm not good enough, I said evenly. For you. She rolled her eyes. Don't be weird. I'm motivating you. I set the weights down gently. No. You're humiliating me. I walked toward the exit. She followed, heels clicking angrily on rubber mats. Where are you going? Home, I said. To pack. Her expression finally cracked. You're leaving? Over a comment? I looked at her. Over the fact you enjoy hurting me in public. In the parking lot, she tried to grab my arm. Stop. People are staring. I pulled away. Exactly. At home, she attempted her favorite rewrite. I was just pushing you to be better. I nodded. And I'm pushing myself to be free. She started crying, but even her tears sounded angry. You'll come back when you realize you can't do better. I zipped my bag and said, I'm not trying to do better than you. I'm trying to do better than this. I left. And for the first time in my life, the gym wasn't the place I got stronger. It was the place I stopped accepting weakness disguised as love. Story 28. She said it on a date night she forced me to plan. Surprise me, she'd said earlier that week. Make it romantic for once. So I did. I reserved a small rooftop restaurant. I brought flowers. I wore the shirt she liked. I even practiced what to say in the mirror like a teenager. The moment we sat down, she scanned the place, unimpressed. This is it? She asked, lips curling. You're not good enough at anything that matters. I felt my stomach drop. The waiter arrived at the perfect time, cheerful and unaware. She smiled sweetly at him, then turned back to me like a judge. I took a breath. You're right. Her eyes widened. Don't start. I'm not starting, I said. I'm ending. She laughed, nervous now. Oh my God, you're doing that thing again. What thing? The dramatic silent treatment. I shook my head. Not silent. Just clear. I stood up, placed the flower bouquet on the table and said, enjoy the view. She grabbed my wrist. Sit down. You're making a scene. I gently pulled free. You made the scene when you made me feel small for trying. I walked out while she sat there furious. And for once I didn't care if strangers thought I was the villain, because I finally understood nothing I did would ever be good enough. Not because I was lacking, because she needed me lacking. At home, she waited by the door like a predator. You're really leaving? She demanded. I nodded. You told me I'm not good enough. I'm agreeing. Her voice cracked, angry and scared at the same time. You'll regret this. I looked at her. No. I regret staying this long. Story 29. She said it during a family group chat. My phone buzzed while I was at work. I swear, I married down. He's not good enough. Then a laughing emoji. Then my aunt replied with an awkward sticker. Then silence. I stared at the screen, heat rushing to my face. Not because she insulted me, because she did it to an audience. When I got home, she was on the couch, scrolling like nothing happened. I held up my phone. What is this? She didn't even look guilty. It's true. I nodded. You're right. She finally looked up, surprised. Good. Then don't be so sensitive. No, I said calmly. I agree. And I'm leaving. Her eyes widened. You're leaving because of a joke? I laughed once. If it was a joke, you wouldn't have sent it to my family. She sat up fast, anger rising. So now you're going to humiliate me back? I shook my head. I'm not humiliating you. I'm refusing to be humiliated. She tried to reach for my phone. Delete it. People will see. They already did, I said. When I started packing, she followed, voice turning frantic. You can't do this. Everyone will think I'm the bad guy. I paused, looking at her. You should have thought about that before you announced it. The next day, she messaged the group chat. We're taking space. Please respect privacy. I replied one line. I'm fine. I'm just done being insulted publicly. She called me dramatic. My aunt called me brave. And for the first time, my family didn't pity me. They welcomed me back like I'd finally escaped something they couldn't name. Story 30. She said it after I stopped chasing her. For years, whenever she got cold, I'd chase warmth. Flowers, apologies, little gifts, long talks. She loved it. The attention, the begging, the proof that she mattered more. Then one day, after another icy week, I just didn't chase. I made dinner, cleaned up, watched a movie alone. Peaceful, quiet, normal. She walked into the living room like she smelled smoke. What's wrong with you? She demanded. Nothing, I said. I'm just tired. She stared at me, almost offended by my calm. Then she said it, sharp and cruel. You're not good enough. You don't even fight for me. I looked at her and nodded. You're right. Her mouth opened, triumphant, until I added, and I'm done fighting. She stepped closer, confused. What does that mean? It means I agree, I said softly. I'm not good enough for a relationship where love has to be proven through suffering. Her voice rose. So you're giving up on us? I shook my head. I'm giving up on the version of us where you win by hurting me. She tried to provoke me into anger. Say something. Argue. Defend yourself. I just stood and grabbed my keys. That's when she finally panicked. Wait, where are you going? I looked back. Somewhere I don't have to audition for affection. She chased me to the door. You'll come back. You always come back. I paused, hand on the knob. That's what you counted on. Then I left. And behind me, her voice cracked. Not because she loved me, but because the game ended and she didn't get to choose the winner.